What's going on, world? It's me, Andre Cat, here from West Palm Beach, Florida. So, I'm gonna be marking up my charts for London session tonight, and I want to go ahead and mark up my charts with you guys here live. So, let me double check if I hear myself. And I want to go ahead and yeah, I can hear myself. Cool. What's going on? All right, so I caught a big move on YM today. And how much we caught? We caught about 400 points, 500 points. Not bad, not bad at all. But what I want to do is I just want to go ahead and mark up my chart. So let's go ahead and get into it. So what I like to do is before the week starts, I always start on the daily chart. All right, I always start on the daily and mark up my previous weekly highs and lows, and you know, I want to be able to see, where could we potentially reject that, or where could we potentially see a break and retest based on the higher time frame. The higher time frame gives me my bias basically on the overall market. Like, is the overall trend bullish? Is the overall trend bearish? Like, where are we in the markets? Okay. And I like to start from the daily, and then I work my way down. I work my way from the weekly, the daily, and the 4 hour. All right. Those are the time frames that I like to look at when it comes to actually seeing the overall trend. Okay. So that's the main thing. All right. So as I look at the daily, I can see that we are bearish. Okay, we are totally bearish here, and I actually show you guys exactly how I would do it. So last week, all right, I always draw my previous weekly highs and lows. So last week, Monday was the actual low. Okay, so let me go ahead and clear this stuff off. That way, you guys can like see the whole process. All right, so last Monday was the previous weekly low. So what I would do is I would get my rectangle tool here, and I'll come like this, and I always draw my weekly high and low from the wick to the body. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'll draw it from the wick to the body. All right, so this is my, and sometimes if the zone is too big, I break it down to the 4 hour time frame to adjust it, make it a little bit more, what you call it here, more smaller, not so I don't have the zone too big, if that makes sense. But this is the low, right? This is the low, the previous weekly low. Okay. And what I like to do too is I like to also draw it back in the future. Okay. I like to draw my zones back in the future to see if this zone is being respected or being rejected, like, or is it price breaking the zone? Like, I want to see if price respect the zone in the future. That way I know if this zone that I'm drawing is strong or weak. Okay, as you can see, price back in 2021, price rejected the zone. So this is a very, very strong zone right here. So every time price is above or below, you can see a rejection. So we got a rejection here back in 2021. And by the way, guys, this is Dow Jones. This is micro futures for Dow Jones. This is like US 30. Okay. So yeah, so I like to draw my zones back in the future to see if price is respecting the zone there. So that's what I like to do. Okay. And then not only that, I want to find out my previous highs of the week or the previous week. All right. And as I can see right now, last Thursday was the previous weekly high. Okay. So what I do, I get my zone, put my zone right here. I draw my zone from the wick to the body. All right. And this is going to be my previous weekly high. This is last week's high. Okay. And again, I like to draw my zones back into the future, or back in the past. And as you can see, it's not a zone like this on the bottom, because this zone right here is being like really, really respected. This zone down here is really, really strong. But that's the previous weekly high of last week. Okay. Okay, let me draw it there. All right, cool. Boom. All right. Now, as you can see, price kind of rejected the zone. I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something like that. It rejected the zone to the upside and then eventually broke the zone, pushed back up, rejected the zone here last week, and you know, it's kind of going down. Okay. So now I got my previous weekly highs and lows. Now, you know, I go break it down to the 1 hour chart to draw my session highs and lows. So when it comes to my session highs and lows, as you can see, I have different colors on my different color candles on my chart. You might be wondering, why do I have different colors on my chart? Why do I see red here? Why do I see yellow candles here? Why do I see green candles here? These just tells me what type of session that I'm in. All right. The red candle means that I'm in the U.S. session. The green candles mean that I'm in the London session, and the yellow candle means that I'm in the Asian session. Okay. Very, very simple. It's an indicator that I'm using to tell me. That way I know what type of session I'm in. Okay. And when it comes to the 1 hour time frame, I like to draw my US session highs and lows. It all depends on what I'm trading. If I'm trading a pound pair, I like to draw my London session highs and lows. If I'm trading a yen pair, or Japanese pair, I like to draw my highs and lows for the Asian session. But when it comes to most of the pairs that I trade are USD pairs, so I usually draw my highs and lows on the US session. So again, same thing how I draw my previous weekly highs and lows. I'm looking for the same thing for the sessions. All right. So as you can see, these red candles again means that I'm in the US session. Okay. The US session starts at 8 a.m. and it ends around 4 or 5 p.m. Okay. So I can see right now today's high, right, which will be tomorrow's previous high. I usually draw my zone from the wick to the body, and then if the zone is too big, I like to break it down to a smaller time frame to adjust it, and then there we go. All right, this is gonna be my previous U.S. session high. Okay. And then like I'll do my previous weekly highs and lows for the previous week. I do the same thing. I like to draw it back in the past to see if see if these zones are weak or strong. Okay. So I draw back. Boom. So that's my high. All right. Now my low of the session will be down here. Again, if the zone is too big, I like to bring it down just a tad bit. And then again, I like to draw my zones back in the past to see if price is being respected, if the zone is being respected. Okay. So that's how I do that. And the reason why I draw these zones is because, sometimes I trade based off of the rejection off of the zone. So if I was looking for buys, right, and price came down into the zone, I will be looking for buys. All right. So I can take buys off of the rejection off of the zone. Okay. So the next time price come into the zone, price could do something like this. Price could come down here and reject. All right. These zones, depending on how strong the zone is, and the overall trend. Remember, I like to look at the weekly. I like to look at the weekly. This is the weekly chart right here. I like to look at the weekly. I like to look at the daily. I like to look at the 4 hour to determine the overall trend of the market. Okay. But we are bearish at the moment. The weekly is bearish. We're creating lower highs and lower lows. So we're creating, for example, this right here will be the lower high. All right. And I'll just go ahead and label that as a lower high. And then right now, this is going to be the lower low. All right. This is going to be the lower low. Okay. So price is creating, as you can see, based on the weekly chart. All right. The Dow Jones is creating lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Okay. So this is a bearish market. Okay, this is a bearish market. You shouldn't be looking for buys at the moment, but if we go to the daily, we see the same thing. We're creating lower highs and lower lows. We're creating lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and this could be a potential lower high to create another new lower low. Okay, but I don't think that the equities or Dow Jones are going to be pushing too much further down here. You never know, but we'll see how price reacts. But we are creating lower highs and lower lows at the moment. Now, on the 4 hour, we are bullish, okay? And as you can see right here, we was creating lower lows here and creating lower high, lower low, but on the 4 hour, we did create a higher high. All right, now we're creating higher highs and higher lows. Price is at a zone here where we could come up and push and create a new higher high. But right now we're bullish on the 4 hour. We're bearish on the weekly, we're bearish on the daily, and we are bullish on the 4 hour time frame. Okay. So what I like to do also is I also like to look at the 4 hour to draw my I like to look at the daily in the 4 hour to draw my use my Fibonacci retracement tool. Okay, most of you guys know that I like to use my Fibonacci retracement. Okay, and the levels that I like to trade off is the 61.8 and the 78.6 and the 88.6. Those are the levels that I like to trade off of. Okay, let me move this back here. Those are the levels that I like to trade off. All right, but the 38.2 is another major level that price likes to reverse. Okay, price likes to reject this level, the 38.2. All right, so price could go up from here. Price could reject this level to create a new higher high. All right, so if you don't know about Fibonacci retracement, look it up. Look it up. It's very, very helpful with my trading style. So I use the Fibonacci retracement tool a lot. All right, it helps me out a lot when it comes to trading. So, if you want to learn more about Fibonacci, look it up on YouTube. Okay, so on the 4 hour, we're at the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level, where price could come and reject this level and create a new higher high based on the 4 hour. Because 4 hour, we're creating higher highs and higher lows. Okay. Now, I'll go back here. So after I do that, after I mark up my zones on the 1 hour, where I like to trade is I like to trade on the 30-minute, 15-minute, and the 5-minute, and sometimes the 1 minute. These lower time frames, these are my entry time frames. Okay. Sometimes I enter on the 30-minute. Sometimes I enter on the 15-minute. Sometimes I enter on the 5-minute. Sometimes I enter on the 3-minute, and sometimes I enter on the 1 minute. These are my entry time frames. Okay. But yeah, that's the Dow Jones right now. What I'm thinking, maybe tomorrow, since we was going down a lot here today, I feel like price might reject this level, but I want to see the 15-minute price to break this level here, because as you can see, we're creating lower lows, we're creating lower highs, and we're creating lower lows. What I want to see price do, I want to see price break this previous lower high to create a higher high, and then create a higher low, a potential higher low, to create a potential higher high. I want to see this type of movement. Okay? That's what I want to see. But if price doesn't break this previous lower high, I'm not going to be looking for any buys at the moment. If price keeps on creating lower highs and lower lows, I'm not going to look for any buys. The only time I will look for buys is when price start creating higher highs and higher lows. Okay? So I let the price show me their hand. Basically, I want price to show me what direction are you want to go. Do you want to go down or do you want to go up? And this is why, market structure is very, very important when it comes to trading. You have to go with the trend, okay? And right now the trend is bearish, okay? It's bearish on the weekly, the higher time frames, on the weekly and the daily, and it's bearish on the 15-minute and the 30-minute chart. Now, the 4 hour is bullish, but right now, the 15-minute, the 30-minute is telling me that price is bearish right now, okay? So I'm not looking for any buys yet, and I'm not going to be trading equities or US 30 or NASDAQ or S&P 500. I'm not going to be trading those pairs until tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow morning, I will be trading those pairs. I'll be trading the S&P 500. I'm gonna be trading, NASDAQ, NAS 100, US 30 tomorrow morning. Those type of pairs you want to trade in the morning, like 8 a.m., 9:30. But yeah, I just want to mark up my charts that way. I'll be prepared for tomorrow trading session. Okay, and if you guys don't know, I do allow people to hop on my live trading session. So if you guys want to be able to take the same trades that I'm taking live, I do live trading sessions on Zoom with my clients. And if I take a trade, if you're on my Zooms, if I take a trade, you can take the same trade with me. All right. And okay, I got somebody asking a question. So bullish in the long term and short in the short term. Yeah. So if I go, let's go to the monthly. As you can see right now, we're bearish. Okay. Well, basically on the weekly, we are bearish right now. So in order for me to have a bullish bias overall, what I want to see the weekly do, I want to see, all right, so as you can see, we're creating, lower low, lower high, lower low. So I want to see price break this lower high, right? And then I want price to potentially pull back to create a higher low, a potential higher low. And then this is where you want to buy at. You want to buy at the higher low, right? You don't want to buy at the high. You want to buy at that potential higher low, and you want to, ride the trend and wait for another pullback, right? And ride with the trend. So price has to break this level right here, to break this lower high for me to consider US 30 to be bullish. Okay, right now we're bearish on the weekly and we're bearish on the daily. All right, we're creating lower lows, we're creating lower highs, and we're creating lower lows on the weekly and the daily chart. So that means the overall market is bearish. All right, as I can go here. Let me go to trading view here. Go to trading view. I want to show you the heat map. I think I already have the heat map open here. Is that the heat map? Yeah, this is the heat map right here. So as you can see, everything is bearish right now at the moment. All right. This is the Dow Jones. All right. Definitely, you don't want to be buying in this situation. All right. If we check out the S&P 500 index, as you can see, all these stocks are bearish. So you don't want to be looking for buys right now. And that's one of the reasons why I caught this move to the downside. If you guys check out my stories, you'll see that I was in a Dow Jones sale and I made about like $500, $600 on that move. But yeah, basically you want to look for sales right now. But short term, you can possibly start catching some buys because the 4 hour is telling us that we're bullish because we're creating higher highs. And this could be this right here, this level right here could be that potential higher low. All right. So basically what I'm saying is that, price could do something like this and head to the upside. As you can see, price is rejecting the zone that I have right here and is also rejecting my Fibonacci retracement level, which is the 38.2 level here. So we could see price reject this level here and head to the upside. All right. I mean, it doesn't mean it has to happen that way. Price could do the opposite. Price could come down here to this level. I'll show you. I'll give you some 3 scenarios that could happen. Price could come down here. All right. Or price could come down here. Or price could come down here. So those are 3 scenarios that can play out long term for the Dow Jones US 30. All right. So that's what could play out right there. So let me see. All right, so let's mark up another chart. Okay, so I marked up my chart there. Let me go ahead and also these are the pairs that I trade when it comes to futures. Now I also trade Forex as well. So if you guys don't know, you guys can copy my Forex trades and you can copy my futures trades automatically to your account. Meaning, every time I place a trade on my account, those same trades can be automatically copied to your account. Only thing, if you want to copy my futures trades automatically over to your account, the only thing that you need is a VPS and you need a trade copier. Those are the 2 things that you need to be able to copy my trades automatically over to your account hands-free. All right? Meaning, you don't got to touch anything. You don't got to do anything. You don't got to look at the charts. You don't even got to know how to trade. Only thing you need is a VPS and a trade copier, and then every time I place a trade on my account, those same trades will be automatically copied over to your account, hands-free. Okay? You can use this to trade your live account. You can use this to trade and pass your challenge, whatever. Okay? And the same thing with my Forex trades. So if you want to copy my Forex trades, right? If you want to copy my Forex trades, the only thing you need is just the trade copier, which is a platform called Traders Connect. Traders Connect is only $20 per month, but that's all you need to be able to copy my Forex trade. When it comes to copying my Forex trade, it's gonna be less because you don't need a VPS. Only thing you will need is just the trade copier. Now, if you copy in my futures trades automatically to your account, then you will need a VPS and a trade copier. So, but for a one-time fee of $250 and then $150 every 30 days, you'll be able to copy both my Forex and my futures trades. Okay. So, but yeah, that's about it. I'm not gonna make this live too long. I'm gonna finish marking up my chart. But these are the pairs. These are my future pairs that I trade. All right, I trade, Euro futures, New Zealand futures, the Japanese yen futures. I trade the Swiss futures, the pound futures, the Australian dollar futures, the Canadian dollar futures, gold futures, silver futures. I trade, S&P 500 futures, NASDAQ futures, Dow Jones futures, natural gas. These are the pairs that I trade when it comes to futures. Okay. So, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish marking up my charts. I'll probably be back on later on tonight during London session. But if you guys want to be able to trade with me live, meaning you'll be able to hop on my Zoom live trading sessions and trade with me live. All right. Shoot me a DM. And you can hop on my live trading sessions and you can literally take the same trades that I take. And if you guys want to be able to copy my trades automatically over to your account, reach out to me, shoot me a DM, let me know, hey, Andre, I want to copy your trades automatically to my account. And then I'll go ahead and get you set up. It's not too difficult to get set up. It's very, very simple. And most of the times I set everybody up anyway, so you don't have to really do anything. Only thing that you really need is to get the VPS or the trade copier. Purchase the VPS and the trade copier, and then I'll do the rest and get you set up. And that way you can be able to copy my trades automatically over to your account. But with that being said, I'm Andre Kettenau here from West Palm Beach, Florida. If you guys are interested and you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click the link in the description box below and message me on Telegram. But if you're here watching this on Instagram, just shoot me a DM.